Hi and welcome to the Insecure Chef. I'm here with Regina today. We're going to be doing something from my past. When I was a kid, Chef Boyardee was a very, very popular brand of canned macaronis and sauces, etc. And one of my favorite was a product they called Beef-A-Roni. Now, I liked it, but there was no way in God's earth my mother would let me eat it with any kind of frequency. So she would make it for me, but it wasn't as frequent as I would have loved to have it. So with that in the back of my head, I decided, Mom's not going to be able to stop me right now. I hope. Anyway, I'm going to make me some Beef-A-Roni today. Very quick dish. It's still one of my favorites, and you can always spice it up, change it any way you want. So I've got the ingredients in front of us today. I've got some pre-cooked elbow macaroni. I've got some 93% beef here. You can use any kind of beef you want, of course. What else do I have? Okay, I have some chopped onions. I've got some chili powder. I've got some garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, tomato sauce, a little ketchup, a little splash of Sriracha sauce I'll be using, and of course salt and pepper as necessary. So we're going to start by browning up the beef. So if Regina will come over to here, we'll move over to that section there. All right, I've got a little oil in here, not much at all. I'm hoping that the oil from the beef will be sufficient to help brown this up. So let me turn this around so I got a handle here. I'm going to chop this down a little bit. Put that around. What I often do is, depending on the fat content of the beef, is I will use just a little water sometimes if the beef has some fat, and just allow the fat to come from the beef and not have to add any excess oil. Anyway, I only put about half a teaspoon of oil in here is all I did. But you brown up your meat any way you're used to doing it. So I'm just going to chop that up like that. And we're just going to let this brown up, and we'll be back in a minute when the browning is done. Okay, we're back. As you can see, the beef has browned up very nicely. And if necessary, depending on the fat content of the beef you're using, if necessary, you may want to drain this before your next step. If it isn't particularly fatty, then that step won't be necessary. Okay, what's going to go in next is I'm going to throw my onions in. Okay, there's my chopped onions. We'll roll that around a little bit. Smells good.
Already, huh?
Yeah, nothing like browned beef and onions for a great smell. Let that go. I'm working at about medium heat. Going to throw in, give it a little salt and pepper action. This obviously is all based on your own personal tastes. That's pepper. A little salt. We'll give it a little more stirring here, and we're just going to saute this for a while until the onions soften up a bit. So we'll be back as soon as that happens. Okay, as you can see, the onions have now cooked down nicely. They become translucent. About 4 or 5 minutes. Again, I'm working around medium heat. All right, I'm going to follow this up now with about 3/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder. Okay, that's going in. I'm going to follow that with about 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, like so. We're going to follow that with a splash of Worcestershire sauce. And that's about a splash for me. Going to give that a nice stir. Okay. Next, we're going to follow up with tomato sauce, canned tomato sauce. This is an 8-ounce can. For my quantity, since this is for one person, I'll only be using about a half can. And I guess that's about half. Okay, half a can going in there. Give that a little stir. All right. I'm going to follow that up with about 1.5 tablespoons of ketchup. more for flavor than anything else. Get that. A tablespoon and a half. Here comes a half a tablespoon on top of that. Okay, that's good. And we're going to give it a little splotch of Sriracha. That's because I like things spicy, but this is optional, obviously. Couple squirts of that. Let me just wipe my hand there. Give this a nice stir. Now, if at this point, since you're almost done with this, the only thing we're going to be following this up with in a moment is the pre-cooked pasta. If for some reason this looks a little bit too thick for your tastes, if you prefer it a little thinner, then by all means just add a quarter of a cup of water and you can probably get it to the consistency you like. For me, this looks good. All right. We're going to follow that up now with the pre-cooked pasta that's going in. All right, good enough. And we're just going to make sure it gets nice and coated. It smells delicious. I'm back in 1959.
In your mother's kitchen.
In my mother's kitchen. And she's making it. Because, like I said, it was really hard to get it to open the can. I was telling Regina off camera that I was able to get it at my aunt, one of my mother's sisters, since she was not one of the best of cooks, one of the sweetest ladies, but not necessarily the best cook. And she had a can of that stuff around. My cousin and I would eat it. So that's how I get it out of the can. Okay. What do you think, babe?
Looks very good.
Does that look like
yes.
Beef-A-Roni to you? All right. All right, let me close this heat off. And I'm going to plate that. You can, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take that. I don't know, I never knew whether I should eat it with a fork or a spoon. Well, I guess you're thinking it's a fork since you took the
Yeah, I took it.
Well, then I guess I'm going to be eating it with a fork. Let me move these out of the way. Heat's off. One last good stir. All right. Let me plate this. I'd say that's a hungry man serving.
Mm-hmm.
Like so. And there is your Beef-A-Roni, made very quickly, and I'm sure it's a lot better than Chef Boyardee. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to give it a taste. See what we think. I was wondering about this. Suppose I hated it. Would I say anything? All right, let's give it a taste. Here we go. Good flavor.
Yeah.
Very meaty. It really has nice flavor. The onions, Worcestershire. It's such a simple dish. Really very, very tasty. So, again, from the Insecre chef, Regina and I wish you a very good night. We hope you enjoyed the recipe. Have a good evening, babe.
Yes, enjoy.
And please ask your friends to subscribe. Check the little bell to make sure that you know when I'm cooking again. And let's see if we can get to that 1,000 subscription mark. All right, thanks again. Take care. I'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.